Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking out the time to join me for this webinar today, where we're going to be discussing optimizing IBM Z operations, specifically focusing on how we can reduce cost and risk through smarter, more efficient sort and storage management. My name is Hedi Vyas. I'm a product marketing manager here at Precisely. Before I go further, a few housekeeping notes for us. One, we're coming to you live. So if you're facing any audio or visual issues with the platform, please feel free to use the Q&A box that's on the right of your screen. Once you put a message, someone from our team will be in touch with you and help you troubleshoot. We're also recording the webinar, so please don't feel the need to take notes or anything. We will send out a follow-up email with the recording and the slide deck so that you can send it to your colleagues who also couldn't be here right now. And lastly, please use the Q&A box to put in questions at any time during the presentation. We do have time dedicated for Q&A discussion at the end. So I will try and get through as many as I can towards the end. If I can't, then we'll just reach back out once the webinar is over. So we like rest assured we will follow up even though if we can't get to your question during this time. But without much ado, let me just give you guys a quick snapshot of what the next few minutes are going to look like. The agenda is pretty straightforward. I'm going to start with telling you guys what we're hearing from customers about what their where the problem really lies. Now we go a little bit into how we're addressing that problem. We'll give some shine on it through some real outcomes with real customers, and then we'll do the Q&A that I was just talking about a few minutes back. So to start with, this is probably not going to surprise anyone on this call, right? What we're consistently hearing is that data volumes are growing, batch windows are getting tighter, and CPU costs are under more scrutiny than ever before. And at the same time, the teams are getting smaller, environments are more complex, but expectations, they haven't really changed. And if anything, they've increased. So what we hear a lot of is we need to reduce cost, but we can't impact our existing SLAs. We need to modernize, but we can't disrupt anything. And this very tension is really what's driving this conversation. Because most teams are not looking to rip anything out. They just want to run what they already have more efficiently. And so that brings us to this. Like, if we zoom out a bit, this is backed up by the broader market too. So a few stats that kind of stood out to me were this first one where we're seeing majority 72% of organizations are seeing workload growth, out of which 35% are attributing this to new or hybrid applications, right? We're seeing more of these day by day. Second is the cost pressure. Almost all companies, 90%, that's a big number. 90% of companies are under pressure to improve cost efficiency. And last but not the least, a big chunk, 47% cannot find the talent that they need. This is leaving less capacity to manage growing sort and storage complexity. So we've got more work to do, fewer people, and more pressure on cost, which basically means that inefficiencies that were being managed before, that were manageable before, they're starting to become real problems now. And this is where it gets interesting because when we look at where those inefficiencies actually sit, it's often in areas that aren't the main focus. So on the sort processing side, we have sort, copy, merge. These are some of the most CPU intensive parts of the batch cycle, but they just kind of run in the background. And they tend to run on the most expensive CPU resources by default. So as volume grows, that cost scales pretty quickly. And then we start seeing overruns, downstream delays, and more pressure on batch windows. On the other side, On the storage mismanagement side, we have allocation failures that will result in reruns, inconsistent data set standards, which will give us hard to diagnose issues, and just a lot of manual work that teams just don't have the time for anymore. So if you simplify this, we have on one side we have sort that's driving cost, and on the other side we have storage that's driving risk. And both are usually just kind of hidden until something breaks and then the teams start to scramble. So this kind of is the bigger challenge that we're seeing, but this is how we approach it at Precisely. So this is our Precisely Sync Sort offering. We're going to focus on 2 out of 4 of these, which are relevant to sort and storage management. So the bottom line here really is that we were not asking customers to change their environment. We optimize it. So on the sort side, we have SyncSort MFX, and on the storage side, we have SyncSort Storage Management. And the common theme really across both is no disruption. We've got no JCR rewrites, no workflow changes, and no retraining of your teams. So it's really about incremental improvement rather than big transformation projects. Let's go a little bit into each of these. Let's start with sort because this is usually where customers see the fastest impact. So there are 3 things that I like to highlight here, which are kind of like foundation. First is the zip offload. This is really where the cost savings come from. You're moving sort processing off of general purpose CPUs and onto zip, which basically means you're not incurring those usage based charges. Second, we have drop in replacements, and this is truly a big one. No JCL changes, no retraining of teams, and nothing for teams to relearn. It just runs. And third, and the last one is flexibility. So we can prioritize CPU savings or elapsed time or a balance of both, depending on what matters the most. And in terms of outcomes, pretty consistently, we see a roughly 40% of CPU reduction, around 20% lower CPU related costs, and immediate improvements in performance. And this is not theoretical. These are real outcomes from real companies. On the storage side, this is less about performance and more about control, reliability, and trust. What customers are really trying to solve is fewer job failures, less manual intervention, more consistency across their environments. So what this does is it helps prevent allocation failures upfront. We can enforce policies centrally, and it gives us the real-time visibility into what's happening. So this kind of summarizes our offering on the storage side. And for just to like give you an example, one large financial services organization had storage policies basically managed through emails and tribal knowledge. After implementing the centralized controls, we saw reduced job failures, improved uptime, and automated a lot of work that used to be manual. And again, no need to touch existing JCL. So just kind of on that note, to give you some examples of real outcomes with real customers, we walk through 2 really quickly. First, on the sort side, large bank, Mexico-based bank, they were spending roughly 1 million annually on sort processing, and it was also starting to impact their critical business windows. After replacing the incumbent and implementing MFX, they saw about a 40% reduction in CPU usage, 10 to 15% faster processing, and about a 20% drop in CPU costs. And more importantly, they eliminated the impact on their interactive workloads entirely. So big outcomes. On the storage side, another global financial services organization needed better control over storage policies, the one that I was mentioning before. Everything was fragmented, hard to manage, and very risky. After implementing SyncSort storage management, we saw centralized policy enforcement, real-time alerts, fewer job failures, and better uptime. So across both the examples, the pattern is kind of the same. Reduce cost, improve reliability, and do not disrupt anything. That's really the goal here. I do want to kind of bring it all together with just how precisely set apart in the IBM Z space. Um, at this point, most teams don't need convincing that inefficiencies exist, right? We're through that point. The real question is who do you trust to fix it without creating more risk? So I'll just hit a few of the things that tend to matter most to customers. First, this isn't new for us. We've been in the mainframe space for decades, and that matters because the environments are not simple at all. There's a lot of history, a lot of customization, and a lot of risk tied to change. So when customers look at optimizing something like storage or sort, they want to know that this isn't going to break something downstream. And that's really where the depth of experience comes in. Second, these aren't niche or experimental tools. They're widely used in production environments and they've been refined over time to do two things really well. One, reduce cost, and the other, improve performance. This is exactly what we've been talking about through the session. So whether it's sort optimization or storage management, this is proven. It's not theoretical. Third, and this is actually more important than it sounds, our development team has deep hands-on mainframe experience. So they're not just building for the technology, they understand where the problems are. They understand how batch cycles run, how storage issues will show up in production, and what teams actually deal with on a day-to-day basis. And that is why things like no JCL changes or no disruption or quick implementation, these aren't just nice to have. They're built into how these products work. And then finally, to touch a little bit upon our IBM partnership, this really gives us visibility into what's coming from IBM and access to support when things need to move really quickly. So, from a customer perspective, what that really means is you're not operating in isolation, not in a silo. There's alignment with the broader IBMZ ecosystem, which helps drastically reduce risk even further. So, when you put all of this together, this isn't about introducing something new to your environment. It's really about solving very specific cost and operational challenges in a way that works with what you already have. And that's really why we see customers start here. It's one of the lowest risk, highest impact ways to optimize your IBM Z environment. We're we're through the content, and I did see a bunch of questions come in. So I'm just going to go to the top and start with the first and work my way through it. Um, so first question says, is Insert MFX a true drop-in replacement for IBM DF Sort, or will we need to rewrite our existing JCL and applications? Yeah, this is probably a common question that we get. So short answer, yes. It is a true drop-in replacement. You don't need to rewrite JCL, you don't need to touch your applications, and your team doesn't need retraining. It uses the same control statements and syntax your team is already working with. So from an operations perspective, it's pretty transparent. Most customers are up and running pretty quickly. Usually, it's just a matter of a couple of days. And where you really notice a difference is after in your next billing cycle when you start seeing the reduction in CPU usage. And that shows up very clearly from a cost perspective. So yeah. The next question is, how does SyncSort MFX perform on very large, complex sort jobs? Are there workload types where it performs best? Uh, yeah. Great question. I would say this is actually where MFX really shines. So the more, I would say, like the more sort intensive your environment really is, the bigger the impact tends to be. Things like large sequential file sorts, multi-way merges, copy operations with more complex filtering. This is where customers typically see the biggest gains. And then on top of that, MFX is optimized for modern Z architecture. So it can offload a lot of that processing to zip. So you're not just improving performance, you're also reducing the load on general process CPU. This combination is really what drives the business case. The next question is, what types of storage environments does SyncSort support, and does it work with our existing tape and DASD infra? Yeah, this is where the no disruption piece comes through again. So SyncSort is designed to work with the environments that you already have, and that does include DSD, tape, virtual tape, really across like a bunch of heterogeneous storage setups. So there's no need to replace anything. What it's doing is adding centralized policy based control over how data moves across those tiers. So instead of manually managing where data lives, you're defining rules based on things like age, usage, retention, and the system takes care of it all, which just frees up a lot of the manual effort for the team. Next question is, how does SyncSort help us manage storage costs as our mainframe data volumes continue to grow? Yes, this is definitely a growing concern for most teams. What we see a lot is data just keeps accumulating on high cost storage longer than it practically should. So, what SyncSort does is automate that life cycle. Instead of everything sitting on your primary DSD, it moves data to lower cost tiers based on policies that you define. And more importantly, that happens without impacting applications or users. So over time, we see that the primary storage footprint stays leaner, costs become more predictable, and because it's automated, these savings scale as data grows. So you're not relying on manual intervention, really. Mm, the next question is, can SyncSort support hybrid cloud strategies? Yeah, we're actually starting to see so much more of this. What customers are doing is using these solutions to support things like data set movement and integration with kind of newer storage models, whether that's cloud or different storage tiers. The key point here really is that we're enabling that flexibility without changing the core workloads. So it fits into a hybrid strategy, but in a way that still protects what's already running on the mainframe. So we have some time, so I'm going to do a couple more questions. Uh, this is a question: how do they support modernization without disruption? So this really goes back to the core theme of everything we've talked about, right? Instead of a big re-platforming effort, you're kind of optimizing what you already have. So you're improving performance, reducing cost, and increasing reliability all within the existing environment. This lets teams modernize incrementally rather than taking on a very high risk transformation project. Do two more questions. How does SyncSort reduce mainframe costs? Yeah, so this is really a combination of both sides working together. On the MFX side, you're reducing CPU usage and offloading more processing to zip. And on the storage side, you're optimizing how data is stored and managed over time. So between CPU consumption and more efficient storage usage, you're reducing overall total cost of ownership. And that's typically where customers see the impact pretty quickly. I think we do a last one. What impact do they have on batch windows? Yeah, this ties very closely to throughput. With MFX, you're getting faster sort processing, and with storage management, you're making sure that data is in the right place and is easier to access. So, together, that just helps jobs run more efficiently overall, which makes it easier to stay within those tightening batch windows and meet SLAs even as volume keeps growing. Um, yeah, I guess I've hit most of the questions that came through. If I missed any of your questions, please be rest assured that we will follow up via email after this. But something that I wanted to leave you guys with is we have a bunch of resources on our website that you can read, webinars that you can watch, just short solution pages that you can read. Please go over, download them as you need. If you also just want to get in touch and talk to an expert, there's a super short form on our website. When you click get in touch, once you fill that out, someone from our team will be in touch with you to get the conversation going. But that's all I had for you today. Thank you for being a great audience. Thank you for being so engaging. Um, have a good rest of your day, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Thank you so much.